Where can you find a charcuterie board from space, a pizza place owned by a rat, and some of the most controversial snacks in Disney World? Disney's Hollywood Studios has seemingly endless options when it comes to food, but sometimes they fall really flat. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Hollywood Studios is the Disney park where old school Hollywood glitz and glam meets Andy's backyard. And it meets the Planet of Batuu, and it meets the Muppets. And along all those very different environments is a whole bunch of food. Of course, not everything can be the most delicious or worth your hard-earned buck. And I'm not here to rag on your favorite restaurant or snack, but rather guide you in the direction of options that might be more up your alley or a better value. Let's dig in. We're going to start with Pizza Rizzo. Yeah, I know, you expected it, right? You just really can't catch a break with us, can you, Pizza Rizzo? Located in the Grand Avenue section of Hollywood Studios, previously known as Muppets Courtyard, you'll find this quick-service pizza joint owned and operated by Rizzo the Rat. This restaurant replaced Toy Story Pizza Planet back in 2016 and has been serving up some, well, similarly mediocre eats ever since. Granted, it served up the exact same things when it was Pizza Planet too, so, the pizza served by a rat, so that's good. Pizza Rizzo is one of several Disney World fast food locations that specialize in those puffy pizzas. You know what I'm talking about, the personal pan pizzas where the topping to dough ratio is kind of out of whack. The crust and dough portions of these pizzas are kind of overbearing in comparison to the other good stuff like the sauce, the cheese, the toppings. And while, hey, everybody loves the crust, I get it, bread is bread, but this is super doughy, not really what you're looking for. Now, Pizza Rizzo does try to cater to a variety of tastes by offering different pizzas like pepperoni, vegetable, pepperoni and sausage, or just plain cheese. And if you're the kind of person that's satisfied with pizza in any shape or form, then this won't be the worst option for you or your family. Beyond just pizza, there are also some other items like the antipasto salad, a meatball sub, and various seasonal desserts. During our most recent try of the meatball sub and antipasto salad, we were honestly pretty satisfied. It was a quick and easy Italian meal that might not be our first choice, but we definitely get it again if someone we were traveling with just had to go to Pizza Rizzo. We all have that one friend. As for Pizza Rizzo's desserts, they can be hit or miss. Pizza Rizzo's cannoli is more like a can't-noli. Get it? Can't-noli, because it's not good. Okay. Anyway, the cannoli is pretty consistently a skip here, but some of the seasonal desserts can be decent. This past Halloween, Pizza Rizzo offered chocolate eclairs that were inspired by the crossover special Muppets Haunted Mansion that debuted on Disney+. That was super fun to watch. Not only was this dessert incredibly cool looking, but was also sweet and fluffy and satisfying. We review all the Disney World seasonal desserts over on the blog, so for those of you headed to the parks with a sweet tooth, be on the lookout. Now, I need to give a little caveat here about Pizza Rizzo. It is awesome theming, right? So it's Muppets straight up. They've got like a wedding banquet hall upstairs, which is super fun. I love wandering around this place, looking at all the sight gags. It is a blast. I just don't love the food here necessarily. So pros and cons, right? Now, if you're in Studios and you're looking for better Italian food but don't want to leave Studios, then try a sit-down meal at Mama Melrose Ristorante Italiano, just feet away from Pizza Rizzo. Guests are pretty split on their feelings toward Mama's, but what I can say about it is that it'll have a wider selection of Italian-inspired dishes, including cheese and pepperoni flatbreads, and I tend to be pretty satisfied when I eat there. All right, next on our list of worst things to eat in Hollywood Studios, those controversial Galaxy's Edge snacks. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is one of the most immersive lands in all of Disney World, and among those immersive elements is the food. Between the snacks and drinks and uniquely colored popcorns in Galaxy's Edge, there's definitely a lot to choose from, but sometimes Batuu's greatest eats are not the best in everyone's book. So if you're familiar with the Star Wars movies, you can probably recall Luke Skywalker drinking that blue milk. Over at the milk stand in Galaxy's Edge is where you'll find these frozen non-dairy drinks. Disney describes the blue milk as being more fruity, while the green milk option they say is more citrusy with tropical characteristics. Personally, I think they both taste like perfume, but that's me, and a lot of people really like them. But in our experience, both drinks have pretty mixed reviews among our team. For some of us, the flavors fall flat, making the drinks underwhelming and bland and kind of really floral. And for others, we've got to grab a cup every time we're in the area. I'm not sure a middle ground exists here. In true DFB fashion, we tried something a little different and made our own version of the blue and green milk, layering both flavors in one drink. By doing so, the flavors packed a stronger punch and made a very aesthetically pleasing sip, a drinkable lava lamp, if you will. And if you're looking to kick your space milk up even further, you can also get alcoholic versions of these drinks. If you're intrigued by colorful milk, give it a try. Weigh in on the debate and let us know if you're team blue milk, team green milk, or team no milk. Now, I can already hear my friend Molly at All Ears yelling at me about this next controversial snack because she absolutely loves it. And to that I say, to each their own, but she is wrong. So, without further ado, let's trash talk the Outpost mix from Katsaka's Kettle. Sorry, not sorry, Molly. One of my favorite pictures I have with Molly is her being very excited about this Outpost mix and me being very not excited about it. Now, the Outpost mix is a blend of purple and red popcorn with flavors that are kind of spicy and kind of fruity. The odd mix has guests pretty split on whether this combo is genius or an abomination. If you're one that finds it hard to choose between sweet and savory, this popcorn might be a good combo for you. Regardless, if you're looking for a break from Disney World's typical buttered popcorn, then this is an option that, exists. I guess if you're a kettle corn fan but also like things to be a little bit spicy, then this is for you. Now, another Galaxy's Edge specific item is bottled orb soda, otherwise known as Coke in fancy packaging. You can find Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite in spherical packaging, meant to look like a thermal detonator, so the bottle itself can be a cool souvenir. But otherwise, there's nothing special about this drink aside from the price. One of these bottled orb sodas will cost you $5.49, which is pricey if you're purchasing it just to satisfy your thirst or your Diet Coke craving. Comparatively, bottles of soda in other parts of Disney World are going to cost you around $4. But if you're viewing it as a unique souvenir rather than just a drink, then it's pretty inexpensive compared to the lightsabers and droids in Galaxy's Edge that'll cost you hundreds. So let's move on to Oga's Cantina next. Some really solid charcuterie boards can be found throughout Disney World, but not here. Yeah. Oga's Cantina is your one-stop shop for trying really unique Star Wars themed cocktails like the Jedi Mind Trick, Bloody Rancor, and Fuzzy Tauntaun. Now, among the boozy and non-alcoholic concoctions at Oga's, there are also some small bites on the menu, one of those being the Happa-Bor sampler. This charcuterie board is both visually chaotic and chaotic to taste as well. Disney describes it as having cured and roasted meats, cheese, and pork cracklins. And when we recently tried the Happa-Bor sampler, it included Braziola air-cured beef, roasted Spam, roasted mortadella, roasted chorizo, pulled string cheese, and burrata with black salt. Previous iterations included burnt scallions, roasted shishito peppers, pork rinds, and other out there additions. Now, the flavors just don't work for us here, and it's $21. I like meat and cheese as much as the next person, but a stick of string cheese that someone pulled for you? That's weird. So this doesn't make sense for the small portion you're getting either. Along with the pricey cocktails you'll probably also order from Oga's Cantina, you're racking up quite a bill by ordering this snack. But if you need it to break up the booze, it's there for you to order. If charcuterie boards are your thing though, never fear, you can order more reliable and filling charcuterie boards nearby at the Hollywood Brown Derby or Baseline Tap House. Okay, next on our list are those pricey, mediocre restaurants with incredible atmospheres. Now, the various lands and rides in Hollywood studios do their best to make guests feel dropped into the stories of their favorite films. Giant footprints in Andy's backyard make guests feel shrunken down to the size of a toy, and the eerie cobwebs and crackling elevator music in Tower of Terror really enforce the whole I'm in danger vibe. So it just makes sense that a lot of the dining experiences in this movie-themed park would also commit to creating an immersive experience. In Hollywood studios, there are some restaurants that really deliver on theming and atmosphere, but they don't always deliver on food. SciFi Dining Theater is a one-of-a-kind dining experience where you and your group can eat in convertible cars while watching black and white sci-fi film clips, and this experience is incredibly immersive and a ton of fun, but the food isn't always something we're going to write home about. The options here are very dinerish, so burgers, sandwiches, salads, pasta, sometimes there's ribs on the menu, once in a while you'll see a steak. Not bad options, but pretty standard selections for the price you're paying, and kind of churned out in the kitchen without a lot of special touches. But I'd never tell someone to not try out this restaurant just because it sometimes gives off Steak and Shake vibes. I like diner food, I'm just not too keen on paying a whole bunch of money for it. If you can set your expectations ahead of time, remind yourself you're paying more for the overall theming here rather than the food, which I think is Disney's MO in a lot of these restaurants, right? I feel like I say that all the time on this channel. Well, then you're more than likely having a grand old time noshing on your burger as you watch aliens terrorizing civilians on the big screen. Good times. Now, another spot that falls into this category is Oga's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge, where you can find that interesting charcuterie board I just spoke about. That's right, Oga's, I'm not done with you just yet. This spot might be a must-do for die-hard Star Star Wars fans, and honestly, it's practically impossible to get a reservation for these days. But if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, then this lounge might not be worth your time and money. For starters, you gotta make an advance reservation here, and snagging those reservations is tough because A, the demand, and B, the seating, which there isn't a lot of. So if you really want to experience this, you gotta wake up when those reservations drop on the Disney website 60 days before your vacation. And if you do get an Oga's Cantina reservation, you'll have a limited amount of time, about 45 minutes to be exact, to consume some fancy pre-mixed cocktails that'll run you between $15 and $18 each. Now this is another spot where you're really paying for the experience rather than what you're getting. Although, like I mentioned earlier, those pre-mixed cocktails can be fun. They're fun in the way that a bachelorette party cocktail is fun. Although I will give a special shout out to that fuzzy tauntaun that makes your lips go numb because of those Szechuan flowers. Super fun. Now, both the SciFi Dining Theater and Oga's Cantina are entertaining and they make for a unique Disney experience, but you're paying for the theming at all these places and not so much the overall quality of the food or drinks. And I'm going to just speak to the seating one more time here. There are some actual tables at Oga's Cantina, but the majority of the quote-unquote seating is going to be standing up at stand-up tables or at the bar. And your reservation doesn't guarantee you a table. You may just be standing up at the bar for your reservation or standing up at one of the stand-up tables, and you may be with a bunch of other people doing the same thing. That's right, it's not an individual table for you and your party. You're going to be there with another 3 or 4 people who are at the same stand-up table as you. Don't look at Oga's as like a meal. There's not a lot of actual food items there. It's mostly going in and drinking those pre-mixed drinks and getting the experience for a few minutes and then heading out. So if that's worth your time and effort, go for it. But it's definitely not the same lounge experience you're going to have at other great lounges in Disney World like Territory Lounge, Geyser Point, places like that. Now, if you're looking for some top tier dining in Hollywood Studios, you may want to check out Hollywood Brown Derby instead. This signature restaurant is a replica of the famous Hollywood landmark restaurant, and it serves up more memorable meals like that famous Cobb salad and the Wagyu burger. If reservations are already booked up for this location, you can always try getting a walk-up seat at the restaurant's lounge. You'll actually get your own table. And even though the menu will be a little more limited than the restaurant, you'll still have access to that famous Cobb salad and a great charcuterie, not to mention hundreds of different cocktail options. Okay, next on our list is poor old Sunset Ranch Market. On your way to Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller Coaster, you'll walk down Sunset Boulevard and right past Sunset Ranch Market. Sunset Ranch Market includes a handful of quick service restaurants like Catalina Eddie's, Fairfax Fare, Anaheim Produce, Rosie's All-American Cafe, and Hollywood Scoops. These options might seem enticing if you're looking for a quick bite before hopping in line for one of the nearby rides or getting ready to sit down for a showing of Beauty and the Beast live on stage, but these spots can be very hit or miss. These fast food locations offer a variety of different eats, with Catalina Eddie's currently serving puffy pizza, and Fairfax Fare has some specialty hot dogs. Rosie's All-American Cafe's got those burgers and chicken nuggets, and Hollywood Scoops has hand-scooped ice cream. The one thing I gotta hand it to this strip of restaurants about is their ability to cater to a lot of different preferences. You got your gourmet hot dogs for the adventurous eaters, adventurous, is that what we want to call them? Maybe. And the standard pizzas for those pickier travel party members. There are even tasty plant-based options like the lobster roll at Rosie's All-American Cafe, which has no lobster at all. Now, the atmosphere is good for people watching and listening to the screams from Tower of Terror, which, by the way, aren't actually real. But the seating is entirely outside, which makes it a rough place to relax and enjoy a meal on those extremely hot Florida days or during an Orlando rainstorm. On top of that, the food is an assortment of not too shabby, it's okay, wouldn't recommend. That's pretty much how most people are going to feel about Sunset Ranch Market food. So out of the Sunset Ranch Markets, I'd go ahead and pass on Catalina Eddie's, but I'd probably go back to Fairfax Fare for their updated hot dog menu. Plus, they've got the Glimmer and Shimmer Blondie there for the 50th anniversary, and that dessert is awesome. But if you're looking for a different fast food spot that might give you a little more satisfying meal, take the time to travel further into the park and try Backlot Express, Woody's Lunchbox, Ronto Roasters, or even ABC Commissary has cleaned up its game pretty well recently. Okay, next on our list are the snacks that are trying too hard here in Hollywood Studios. There are hundreds of snacks across Disney World property, and in order to stand out, some are really over the top, maybe a little too much so. One example of this is the Chocolate Mousse, a 50th anniversary treat at ABC Commissary. This is a raspberry dark chocolate mousse atop a chocolate almond cake with a layer of hazelnut crunch and whipped chocolate hazelnut cheesecake. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. The menu flavors, they start to clash, leaving the dessert feeling rich and heavy and just chaotic. Even if you're a huge chocolate lover, this mousse still might be a little too much for you. But if you're like, yes, I love extremely rich desserts, then this might actually work for you. It's also super pretty, so make sure to get your camera ready. And I've already mentioned the Glimmer and Shimmer Blondie over at Fairfax Fair. It's also at Backlot Express, I think. But if you're looking for another sweet alternative to the chocolate mousse, how about heading over to the Trolley Car Cafe and grabbing a Glimmer and Shimmer pineapple mousse instead? This is a golden pineapple mousse on a toasted coconut crisp with caramel cream and matcha sponge cake. It's not too overbearingly sweet, but it is very smooth and fruity, and it's a lighter dessert for those really hot days. Now, another treat that tries a little too hard in the snacking realms is that Outpost Puff from Docking Bay 7 in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This is a chocolate pastry filled with guajillo chocolate mousse finished with that Thai tea panna cotta, spiced pineapple, and confectionery debris. Literally, quote unquote. Again, this is a dessert that's really got a lot going on, right down to the confectionery debris. Not only did these flavors not come together for us, but the pastry was pretty stale when we tried it. This is currently the only dessert on the menu at Docking Bay 7, so I recommend venturing to another spot for a more satisfying Star Wars treat. Maybe, I don't know, say my favorite Wookiee cookie from the Backlot Express that I mention all the time? Yeah, that's a good one. And another worst thing to eat in Hollywood studios are snacks that aren't trying hard enough. On the opposite end of the spectrum, there are some Hollywood studio snacks that could really step up their game. Yeah, sometimes simple is best. But when there are so many Disney snacks that are bringing their A game, it's a little disappointing to see those that aren't matching that same energy. Yes, we do like to anthropomorphize our snacks here at DFB. Thank you for asking. Now, a clear example of this is the plain old funnel cake. It's a classic theme park eat, but there are other versions of this traditional dessert that add a little extra something. At Epic Eats, right near the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, you can find some over-the-top funnel cakes that are just gaudy enough to catch our attention, and they taste good too. There are funnel cakes topped with strawberries and ice cream, Oreos and ice cream, and for the 50th anniversary, we got shimmering gold Oreos. Who doesn't want gold Oreos? Ice cream and gold sprinkles. Now, another simple dessert that isn't quite exciting enough to wow guests is that plain soft serve waffle cone. There's something you can get pretty much anywhere, folks. To get your ice cream fix in Hollywood studios, get one of those sundaes from Hollywood Scoops instead. But if you're wanting something a bit more basic and less in your face, it's good to know that tamer snacks do exist in Hollywood studios. So if you're not looking for a show and you're just looking for something to curb a craving, and definitely something that's not going to break your budget, then these simple snacks will get the job done. So those are some of the worst choices in Hollywood studios. You know, our job here at DFB is to tell you what things are like, give you the pros and cons so that you can make good decisions with your money in Disney World instead of being stuck with a hockey puck burger, a puffy pizza, or like a Hershey bar. They literally sell those at Disney World. Don't buy them. And of course, most of the things in this video are not downright bad, but they may not be the best for you and your group's needs. You know, Disney's always changing up menus and adding new snacks, so if any of the places I mentioned today make a shift for the better, like ABC Commissary did, we're not panning on that anymore. It's really good, and we'll be sure to tell you all about it. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.